King Jr.'s moral convictions shaped a revolutionary approach to social justice, demonstrating that nonviolent resistance could dismantle systematic oppression and inspire transformative change.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
In a world rife with violence and division, one man stood firm in his belief that peace, not conflict, was the answer. Martin Luther King Jr.'s unwavering commitment to nonviolence became the cornerstone of a movement that forever changed the fabric of American society. Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophy of nonviolence was deeply rooted in his moral convictions. As a Baptist minister, King drew upon the Christian theology, particularly on Jesus' teachings, as a foundation for his approach. The idea of turning the other cheek became a religious doctrine. It was the strategy for dismantling systematic oppression. In the letter from Birmingham jail, King articulates the moral imperative, the resistance of unjust laws. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice. This letter served as a manifesto for nonviolent activism, highlighting the ethical responsibility to confront inequality with peaceful resistance. King's approach was not only spiritual but also deeply intellectual. King was influenced by thinkers such as Reno Neighbor and Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi's success with nonviolent resistance against British colonial rule. King to adapt these principles to the struggles for the civil rights in America. Marked the first large-scale application of King's nonviolent philosophy. Sparked by Rosa Parks' arrest, the boycott demonstrated the power of peaceful collective action.
In Stride Toward Freedom, King reflects on the challenges of maintaining nonviolence in the face of hostility. Writing, "Nonviolence is a powerful and just weapon. It is a weapon unique in history, which cuts without wounding and ennobles the man who wields it." Taylor Branch, in his biography, Parting the Waters, America in the King Years, highlights how King's leadership during the boycott solidified his role as a leader in the civil rights movement. His ability to rally diverse communities around the principle of nonviolence was instrumental in its success. King's moral authority was amplified by his oratory skills. His ability to inspire hope and action through words reached pinnacle during the March on Washington in 1963.
To present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
This speech was not just a vision for racial equality, but a testament to the power of peaceful resistance. As Claiborne Carson notes in the autobiography of Martin Luther King Jr., King's speeches were a blend of moral conviction and strategy designed to inspire collective action.
No other choice. I join you in this meeting because I'm in deepest agreement with the aims and work of the organization which has brought us together, clergy and laymen concerned about Vietnam. The recent statements of your executive committee are the sentiments of my own heart, and I found myself in full accord when I read its opening lines. A time comes when silence is betrayal. That time has come for us in relation to Vietnam. The truth of these words is beyond doubt, but the mission to which they call us.
King's commitment to nonviolence extended beyond the fight for civil rights. In his 1967 speech at Riverside Church, A Time to Break Silence, King denounced the Vietnam War, arguing that militarism, materialism, and racism were interconnected forms of violence. By taking this stand, King broadened the scope of nonviolence to encompass global peace and injustice. He linked civil rights to broader human rights issues. This marked a turning point in his leadership. Leading a nonviolent movement in a violent world was not without its challenges. David Garrow highlights in Bearing the Cross, King faced immense pressure from both within and outside the movement to abandon nonviolence. Yet he remained steadfast, believing that peace was the only path to lasting change.